Hi there, I'm Angela, and welcome to another episode of Friday Sews. Hey everyone, happy Friday. It's good to be back after taking a little break. I think it's been probably a couple of weeks since my last video. So I'm glad to be back, glad to be chatting with you guys. And I hope you all had a good past 2 weeks. If you celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, hope that was good for you. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And that's primarily the reason why I took a little bit of a break. Thanksgiving is kind of our like big holiday here at our house. So I'll talk more about that here in a second. Yeah, so a couple of other pieces of housekeeping before we get started. Of course, thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. She's the creator of the hashtag Friday Sews. And I'm sure that's not news for any of you guys, but just in case you haven't, please go check her channel out. I always link her channel below, and I'll do it again for this video. I am so thankful that she has created this hashtag and kind of like brought the sewing community together. Whether you're making a video, you're watching videos, or both, it's just so nice for all of us to have a chance to connect and kind of catch up at the end of each week and just kind of I call it kind of like coasting into the weekend, like looking back to see how our week went, both in our sewing room and also in like regular life, and maybe talk a little bit about the things that we have coming up. And then one other thing, as far as housekeeping, if you guys don't already follow Sherry over at Granny's Sewing Room, please consider giving her channel a look. Of course, I'll post a link to her channel below too. And she's doing Vlogmas this year, as many of the YouTubers are. And she has invited several of us to participate in her Vlogmas. So since I'm not doing it, I happily accepted her invitation to participate in her Vlogmas. And I'm going to be doing a video later on this month. And the way that it works, she invited us to kind of film either live or pre recorded a video tutorial or instructional video about anything that we're doing around the holidays, whether it's making a holiday gift or a piece of home decor, or like in my case, what I no, I'm not going to tell you. I thought I would let you know, but you know what? I'm going to leave it a surprise. So I'll be posting my video on December 21st, and I will give you just like a little bit of a teaser. It's not going to be sewing related at all. So, so I'll give you something to think about for a little bit. Yeah, so check her channel out, and please do follow all of the other YouTubers that are participating in Sherry's Vlogmas. Yes, I think that's all that I wanted to kind of like informational things to give you guys up front. And as far as sewing, I did make some progress in the past 2 weeks in the sewing room. Not a ton, but some. And I'm going to update you guys on that. So, you probably know, if you've seen my last few videos, I'm making this pair of butterick pants. And I'm doing this view C here, wide leg, with kind of the opening there at the calf area. And I have made progress on it. And I was stitching away, working on the construction, and I ran out of, I'm using black thread, and I ran out of black thread. And part of me is like, how can I run out of black thread? Like, shouldn't I have like at least 2 or 3 spools of black thread somewhere in my sewing room? And it turns out I did have some other black thread, but it's 100% cotton, like intended for quilting. And I'm using polyester on this. And I'm not sure if it makes like a whole lot of difference, but just like as far as like continuity, I thought, well, I'll just go to Joann's and get some more thread. So it took me like a few days to actually make it to Joann's, which I actually did just this morning, the day that this video is coming out. So I went up there, and of course, they're having their sale for thread. If you Guterman, at least buy 3 and get 2. So I had to take advantage of that. So I ended up getting 2 of like the thicker, like 250 yards or somewhere around there, of their all-purpose like polyester thread of black. And then I picked out like 3 other colors, like some neutral, mostly neutrals, like a navy blue and a gray and a taupe or like a brownish color. So I should be good on thread for a little while, unless I'm making like something out of a crazy color fabric, and then I might have to get another spool of thread. But I think I'm good on thread for a while. So making progress on that, and I should be able to next week do like a reveal video on these pants. And of course, because this pattern is still in print, it was only published in 2020. Of course, you can still buy it, so I'll probably do like a full pattern review on that as well. So yeah, look for that next week. And otherwise, in sewing, I kind of did something I've been wanting to do for a little while, because we all have to make adjustments, especially with pants and the crotch curve and all of that. If you have a sway back or full tummy or anything like that, we end up making adjustments. And I kind of like perfected. I don't want to say that because then something will go wrong, but I kind of got a really good template for pants for me when I made a McCall's cargo pants a while back. And every pair of pants I've made since then, what I've ended up doing is grabbing that pattern out of my pattern cabinet and picking those pieces out and finding them, having to re-iron them to get the crinkles out, and making the adjustments on my new pants pattern. So what I thought would make a lot more sense is if I could just create like more of a sturdier template out of those adjustments I made on those cargo pants that fit so well. And I would have loved to do that with some sort of a plastic, like maybe a mylar or something like. And then I could just use that going forward for any pants that I make. Well, I didn't happen to have any kind of material like that on hand, but what I do have is paper bags, like grocery paper bags. So what I did was to cut apart a big paper grocery bag, and the only part that kind of matters right here, like this side is not accurate. That's just like the edge of the paper bag that I cut out. What matters is the crotch curve, like here and then along the waist. So I did this is the back, and then I made a piece for the front. And same thing, like when I lay this out now and I'm tracing like a new pants pattern, I have this curve to go nicely there. And over on this side, it doesn't matter. Like the pants pattern piece that I'm tracing, like using this to make the adjustments and trace, like this part doesn't matter. Like it might only come to here, or it might be wider, I guess, depending on like what my waistline is doing at that point in my hips. But really the part that matters is right here. And I also did draw the grain line on there. So I can just use this in conjunction with any new pants patterns I'm using. So I actually did that I'm pointing here because my cutting table's right there. I actually used those for this. So I'm excited to see how that works out. And I was feeling pretty confident, and I didn't make a muslin for these pants because I'm really trying to get away from making the toiles or the muslins for just everyday kinds of clothes. Like if I'm going to make maybe a ball gown, like I ever wear a ball gown, or something out of very expensive fabric, I definitely would make a muslin. But for something like this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to just use this template that I know is right and just trust it. Just trust what I've done in the past and that it works again, and just go for it. So I'm excited to see how these turn out. So that's kind of something else. I guess that's probably the only like sewing activity that I've done. But when I did go to Joann's this morning to get that thread, of course I had to peek and see if patterns were on sale. And they're having McCall's patterns for $1.99. So I kind of keep a little running list on my phone of any patterns that I'm interested in. And then I I watch the sales and wait till things go on sale, and then I kind of pull the trigger on it and get it, or at least get one or two. If if I don't want to put out a lot of money, I'll just buy one or two. So they since they did have McCall's on sale, of course I looked at my little list and I picked up a couple. So this one is for a poncho. I will show you guys these. And this one, I think that this one is brand new. Yeah, 2022. I think this is from their new fall line, maybe fall and winter. I really like this. I've got a lot of poncho patterns because I love wearing jackets and ponchos. This was a poncho that I made several years ago that I wear around the house pretty frequently. And what I really loved was this one there with that little wrap tie thing in the front. So for $1.99, I think I'm going to go ahead and get that. And then I thought that this was interesting too, the way the pockets are on this poncho. I don't feel like you typically see those kind of pockets on a poncho. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the other one I got, and this pattern is probably completely impractical, reference back to what I said about like, do I ever wear a ball gown? But I have had my eye on this pattern for a little while, and I kept putting it off because when am I ever going to wear a dress like that? I just love it though. And part of me is maybe like the hopeful part thinks, maybe one day I'll go somewhere where I can wear a dress like that. And if not, I could always do this dress here, which is much more wear. Okay, just a little technical glitch there. Actually, I filmed these videos, record these videos on my phone, and I got a notification that my storage was full, so it shut off recording. So let's jump back to where we were. Yes. So anyway, I feel like at least I could make that dress there, which is depending on what you make that out of, could be more of day to day, especially maybe if you shortened it, or it could be fancy. Let's see, the fabrics on this are two-way stretch knits, 50% cross grain, jerseys, interlock, velvet knits, novelty knits. So we'll see what becomes of this. This may be one of those that sits in the pattern cabinet for a while. We'll see. I feel like one day I'm going to have like a massive destashify project where I unload, I get real and kind of unload patterns that I know I'm never going to make. But, there's always hope. I love that dress. I don't know if it suits me, but I do like it. We'll see. And yeah, so I did, while I was at Joann's, take a peek in their clearance fabric section. Oh yeah, but before I show you the one piece of fabric that I got, interfacing is on sale for 50% off. So I got 3 yards of lightweight fusible interfacing because we always need that. And isn't it kind of like the worst when you're in the middle of a project and you feel like you have everything gathered to start on it? You think like, I'm just going to cut out the fabric pieces and I'll cut out the interfacing pieces when I get to that part. And do you guys do that, or is that just me? I do that a lot. Like, I'm just so excited to get going. I cut out all my fabric pieces and think, well, when I get to the part where I need interfacing, I'll go ahead and just cut out the little piece there. And it'll probably just be like a couple of small pieces. I'm like, yeah, I got lots of interfacing stashed away and I'll be good. But then when it comes to that point and I go check like my little bin of interfacing pieces, I don't have enough or the right kind of interfacing or something like that. So I went ahead and got 3 yards of a lightweight fusible since I was there. And as I mentioned, I did look through their clearance fabric section and I found a piece that kind of caught my eye. And I thought, well, I don't need any more fabric. Like, who amongst us needs any more fabric? Maybe you do, but probably most of us don't, maybe. So I found one and I got it. It was a 60% off, so it was a great deal. And I got 1.5 yards. So I'll show you that. But before that, I didn't just look through the clearance fabric. I went ahead and poked around because I had some time to look around. And I went down like the special occasion fabrics, maybe because I had this on my mind. I'm not going to be making this anytime soon or maybe ever, but because I kind of was in that mentality of beautiful fabrics and gowns, I thought I'm going to look down the special occasion fabric because it's so pretty. Sometimes I like to just go down that aisle because it's just beautiful fabrics, and we all love looking at beautiful fabrics. So I went down that aisle and I wanted to show you guys some of the ones that they had on the rack there. And so I kind of I was trying to be like quiet about this, and so I filmed a little clip of like all the fabrics going down the aisle and their special occasion. Not all of them, a good portion of them, and they are so beautiful. So you guys want to see those? I'm gonna put that clip in right now. Aren't those just so beautiful, so pretty? It kind of makes me wish I was like a costume designer or something like that. They're so beautiful. So I wanted to share that with you guys, especially if you don't have like an in-person store, like a brick and mortar store near you where you don't get to see those all the time. They're just so pretty. Um, yeah, so I kind of got my fabric fixed just by looking at those. Yeah, so let's take a look at the one that I picked up. It's a polyester. It's kind of like they call it a pleated knit. Bring it in closer there. It is similar like to a rib knit, and I guess it's the way that it's constructed that means the difference between pleated and ribbed, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to know the difference, but it's like a navy blue, almost a purplish blue color, and this color is one of those like my colors, like in my color palette when I had my colors done last year. So yeah, I feel like it maybe it's too dark for me, but it doesn't matter. I loved it. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is making like a shell to wear under a cardigan or something, kind of like maybe like a tank top, but not like a sporty tank top, more of a dressier. Maybe if you crossed a camisole, like a cami with a tank top, something along those lines. So that's pretty much all the sewing related activities that I have to share with you guys. And in like other parts of life, we were pretty much really busy with the Thanksgiving holiday here at our household for the past week or so. And that's kind of like the holiday that we host here. So we usually have anywhere from like 15 to 25 people here. It just depends on who can come and who's in town and who's not and what everyone's plans are. So this year, I think we had maybe just 12 people. I feel like they're kind of getting smaller and smaller each year. And it used to be that we would have not only our families here, but a lot of friends too. And I feel like that kind of stopped when like COVID started a couple of years ago. And of course, no one was gathering for anything for a couple of years. And now everyone's like coming back together. And but like at least what we've seen here, like events or gatherings are kind of smaller. So we just had about 12 people here, but we still cooked like all the things that we normally cook. Like my husband will do like cook the big turkey, and I'll do like a lot of side, maybe 5 or 6 side dishes, casseroles and things. And then our guests will usually bring dishes too. So there's like a lot of food to like a big buffet type thing to choose from. And while I am vegetarian and primarily vegan most of the time, like 95% of the time, most people are, including my husband. So what he does with the leftover turkey and like the bones and everything, he'll make like a big pot of turkey soup. So usually when he does that, he'll make it into like smaller containers and put it in our deep freezer, and then he'll have turkey soup for the next however many months. But this year we pressure canned it. And it was the first time that we've used our pressure canner for pressure canning. So for a couple of years now, I've done water bath canning in the pressure canner with peaches and fruit. But this is the first time that we've done pressure canning. So it's kind of a big deal. And it's kind of a skill that I've wanted to learn for a while and been like kind of a little, maybe a little bit afraid. I'm not sure why. Like I'll do it wrong, and like everyone will get poisoned or something like that. But he's like, let's just do it. So I'm glad that he kind of had like the gung ho attitude and let's just do it. And it worked out fine. So now we have like several jars, I think 6 or 7 like jars of turkey soup that he'll be able to enjoy. So yeah, so that was pretty good. So, other than that, for the past couple of weeks, the only real other things that I've been kind of focused on are our new puppy, Farley. And we adopted him back in August. Yeah, late August. I'll put the video up here, like a link to it, where I talked about adopting him and that process. And he's really sweet. And I feel like it's taken. So we've had him for what, August, September, October, November, a little over 3 months now, and I feel like we've reached a point where he feels like this is his home, and we're all kind of bonding together, and we're settled in now. I guess maybe that's the best way to say it. Where I feel like he's comfortable now, and he knows that this is his home. And we have been taking him through some obedience training at PetSmart here. And he's finishing up his intermediate round. He's doing really well, and he'll finish that up tomorrow. So, the way that it works is you go through 6 weeks of classes, and then at the end, they do like a little test where the teacher kind of reviews everything that we've been working on for the past 6 weeks. So, we did this with his beginner round and now his intermediate round. And she'll like put him through the paces, like do a little test to make sure that he like really learned everything that we've been practicing for the past 6 weeks. So we'll do that wrap up tomorrow. And other than that, we are doing good here. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me. And I hope you'll tune back in next week when I will have the reveal for my Butterick pants. And until then, I will talk to you later. Bye.